What's up guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne and today I'm here with my review of 1922. It's directed by Zach Hildrich and it's another adaptation of a Stephen King movie from Netflix. Yeah, we've gotten two in a couple weeks, which is pretty cool. So in the year 1922, Thomas Jane's character Wilfred James is a farmer and he marries Arlette, played by Molly Parker. So when he marries her, he inherits a big plot of land that she technically owns, and that causes tension in their relationship. So Arlette is an aspiring fashion designer, and as you can imagine, it's hard to sell your clothes when you live out in a farm in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska. So she wants Wilfred and her to sell their individual plots of land and then move out with their son Hank, played by Dylan Schmidt, into the big city so she can start her life. But neither Wilfred or Hank want to sell the land because the crops are good and they both like being farmers, and a man's wealth is determined by how much land he has in 1922. So they both conspire to kill Arlette so that they can stay on the farm and continue life as they know it. So the actual murder itself is super gory and you actually get to see a lot of it. It's actually pretty disturbing because it's very poorly executed and very poorly planned out, and the repercussions of it show almost immediately. Something this movie does really well is hang on the gory, disgusting shots and the dark imagery. It doesn't just show you it for a second, it'll show you it at times for 10, 12, maybe even 15 seconds at a time, and it really just ingrains itself in your mind. So aiding the grisly visuals is an incredible soundtrack that's mostly made up of plucked violin strings. If you've seen the movie's trailer, you've already kind of gotten a taste of what that sounds like, but when you pair it with some full frontal, terrible, gory imagery, it's super unsettling and it'll actually make your skin crawl. That's something that very rarely happens to me in a movie, but when I saw some of these scenes paired with that soundtrack, it just made me shiver, and I don't think I've experienced that in a really long time. So while I like this movie for the most part, it does have a pretty glaring problem with pacing. It starts off very breakneck, like it gets you into the murder right away, but then after that first 15 minutes is a super slow burn. The movie's only 110 minutes long, but it feels a lot longer, and I feel like it could have told its story in a more concise way. That's not to say it's boring by any means, but there's a very clear pacing shift and it's just kind of jarring when you realize what's going on. So at first, Wilfred doesn't really show any guilt or remorse about what he's done. It totally makes sense to him because he wanted to keep his farm. But as that guilt starts to creep in throughout the plot, more and more rats start infesting his life. And I feel like rats are the perfect metaphor for guilt. If you want to display that in a movie, I don't think there's really anything better than something like rats or cockroaches, because they're disgusting. You cannot ignore them once they start infesting your life, but he does, because when you're feeling guilty, you just want to ignore it. But there's consequences that come along with it, and boy oh boy will you see them in this movie. So while you might be feeling a Stephen King overload at this point from all the adaptations we've gotten this year, I'm really glad that it's a solid mix of different subgenres. This one is by far the darkest and most twisted, and it's the most real. There's nothing really paranormal about it. It's just a guy's descent into madness over guilt over something he did that he really shouldn't have done. So while it doesn't really do anything groundbreaking, at its worst, 1922 is a very solid movie, and it's going on Netflix October 20th, so it's not like you really are taking a big risk by checking it out. If you're at all interested in Stephen King or any of the themes that run throughout his books, I feel like you really can't go wrong by checking this one out. It's by no means my favorite movie of the year, but I'm really glad I got a chance to check it out. So there you have it guys, that's my review of 1922. If you get a chance to check it out for yourself on Netflix, you should let me know what you think down in the comments below, and you're going to want to check in later this week for my review of Creep 2. That's a movie I'm really excited for. Anyways guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.